Money. Joey. 500. Got some goats in the building. Get ready for a shakedown.
Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man. Y'all get it. My QB got swag. My wideout is award winning. His fly was fly. Joey and 500. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown. Here comes the shakedown.
Let's go.
Yo, by the way, kick dick back here. Welcome to the Philly Shakedown podcast. What is going on, everybody? What is going on, Joey Shakes? How you doing, my man?
I'm good, bro. I'm ready for week 2. I'm ready for Monday night, and we're already here. A couple days to go, and be another test for the Eagles this week. So
I can't wait, man. This is like the longest between weeks 1 and weeks 2 I can remember. What is going on, everybody? Scratchy, what is going on? Crowley, Logan Motorsports, J-Dog is here, Jolo, F. Dallas, I love that name, Aaron Charles, Robert, Miss Torres, Twits, what's going on? Lacey Ford, Seabiscuit, Troy, Casey Eagle, Brian, Jimbo, Don, everybody here, Texas boys even here. What is going on, everybody? Foster Parks, Mav. I don't even see anything mad today, Mav. What's going on? I'll piss you off in about 2 minutes, Mav. Don't worry, because usually when you see Maverick, he's got at least angry faces all over the place.
Of course.
So if I don't see that, then something's wrong. But we'll get it fixed, and we'll get it fixed with this. Let's jump right into this. The big news with the Eagles, the big question with the Eagles going into this game is going to be the health of one A.J. Brown. This is the injury report for today. A.J. Brown, hamstring, along with Johnny Wilson, hamstring, did not practice, and they are both questionable going into the game. So 50-50. Then you have Fred Johnson, Isaiah Rodgers, Tyler Steen, Devin White, Milton Williams, all full practice. So those guys will be good to go. But A.J. Brown, it's a 50-50 chance here. Hamstrings are a kind of funny thing. What are your thoughts about the A.J. Brown situation?
Well, I made a video on it this morning saying that he's already going to be out for Monday. I don't think he's going to play at this point. It's early in the season. If he tweaked it or whatnot, I don't think you're going to take a chance this early in the season. This isn't week 14, okay? But if you do play him and he's not like 85%, 80% healthy, what do? I mean, you're going to linger this problem even more or waste a roster spot for this game to let him play and then, kind of test. Maybe they'll test it out on Monday, see how it is before the game. But if it's for me, because it's early, because it's only the second game, I don't think they should rush him back. It's just a smart thing to do for the long run of this season. So do you put Jahan Dotson as the number 2 for this team and put the pressure on him? Is he caught up while not being here for this long? And obviously, especially when Johnny Wilson has the hamstring too, or do they go out and say, hey, let's put Paris Campbell, let's elevate him to the number 2 spot of, because I think you need that bigger receiver at least. I don't think Cubby's going to have much of a shot in this game. So it really depends on that. I don't think he's playing Monday. That's just me.
Okay. Rock the Artist, what's going on, my man? Here's what I'll say. Sirianni said that he didn't say he tweaked it or anything. He said that it was tight. The hamstring was tight. So I'm not sure if it was just like tightness or he tweaked it. If he tweaked it, then it's 50-50, and we'll see. But if it was just tight, he might play. But I would make sure that I don't play him unless I know for sure, because you don't want a hamstring can linger on. And we also have to remember, because it's Monday Night Football, you're getting a short week to week 3. So it really depends. Does Nick Sirianni mean that it was just tight and bothering him, so they didn't want to tweak it, or was it tweaked? And that's what we'll have to see. I think we got to keep an eye on, see if they elevate Paris Campbell off the practice squad. But obviously he would play if Brown can't go. But I think either way, they got enough to beat the Falcons with or without.
I agree.
Totally agree. But we just don't know. Somebody said we gained Michael Thomas. I think that's lies. Yeah, I don't foresee that happening. I mean, they got Jahan Dotson, so I don't think that's the case. But I mean, it's something we'll have to watch. I really have a feeling this was going to be a Devonta Smith game, and I think Devonta Smith is going off big time this game. Either way. But if Brown don't go, obviously that's going to attract attention. This could end up being a Dallas Goedert type game, But it's gonna be interesting to see whether he could go or not. I wouldn't push it if it's tweaked, but if it was just tight and you're like, all right, we don't want him to get hurt, that's a different thing. I don't know which one it is.
I wouldn't rush
AJ Brown is questionable because of a hamstring, so. I think it'll probably be a game time thing. Witch King says I would suit him up, but only play him if we really need him. Yeah, you could do that too. The one thing you don't want to do with a hamstring is have it linger. Those things can last all year. I saw somebody as the chat was going by something about Deshaun Jackson. I mean, he had a ton of hamstring issues. You want it to be fully healed, so. I think we just have to wait and see. But I really, based upon what Nick Sirianni said, my impressions were he didn't tweak it. It was just tight, and they just didn't want to take a chance. So I have no idea. I really think we got to see what they do at Campbell. If they elevate him like tomorrow or something, then we'll know.
I agree.
So I really think we're 50-50. I think it's 50-50. Mark says we don't need any other receivers. We need edge rushers. Well, yeah, we do need edge rushers. That's for sure. Hey, Warrior Rage, thank you for the super chat, my man. He goes, Smitty, wide receiver 1. We picked up Dotson for this exact situation, and Covey's already seen wide receiver 3 reps. We are literally built at wide receiver for this. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think we're going to be able to handle that just fine. I think the Eagles will have no problems moving the ball against the Atlanta Falcons. To me, the big, and just to jump into it, to me, the big matchup for this game and the key to this game is the Eagles got to stop Bijan Robinson because Kirk Cousins will choke. You could get pressure on them. I believe they'll generate pressure, but the Falcons are going to try to use Bijan Robinson more than they did last week. So I think you're going to see a heavy dose of him. And then they're going to look at the Eagles and say, okay, look at what Josh Jacobs did in the second half. We're going to try to do that with Bijan.
Yeah, and I think Bijan's a bigger talent too. I mean, look at what we know what Bijan could do. Okay, we made hats of this guy. We had, if we didn't go after Jalen Carter, if he didn't fall into our lap, we figured that Eagles would have had Bijan Robinson.
I have no
high
doubt.
Percentage.
No,
yeah.
I know for a fact that's what they would have done.
I think he only had like 68 yards, I think, the first game. So, I mean, he's a dual threat back. He could catch out of the backfield. He could do almost anything. So, we haven't faced a running back like that this season yet. We've only been through one game, and, Josh Jacobs, they didn't really use him like that. So, this guy could jump cut. This guy could do anything. So,
one of the issues that I heard from just watching some Atlanta Falcons stuff was that they didn't use Bijan Robinson enough. They had Kirk Cousins drop back an enormous amount of times for what they would like. They really want to use Kirk Cousins in a play action type role, have him roll out and move around more, and they didn't do that because he was just dropping back. So I think based upon the fact that they felt like they underutilized him, and then based upon what they're going to see on tape, with the second half of the Eagles' run defense, I expect them to really go after Bijan Robinson and use him a lot in this game. And if you stop him and you slow him down, then it's going to become Kirk Cousins,
choke fest.
Who's going to have to beat you. And at that point, you get pressure on him. It's night, Kirk Cousins. Listen, Kirk Cousins on prime time is this. That is a choker. He's a choker.
I think they haven't unlocked the full potential of Bijan yet, and I don't think they've unlocked the full potential of Kyle Pitts yet, really, which we'll talk in this either. So, I mean, I think that's – and they have a quarterback situation right now where, is Penix going to take over later on this season? Like, are they giving – I don't know.
I mean,
I don't really know, honestly. So
they paid Kirk Cousins a lot of money. I mean, I don't see I don't see them benching him after 2 weeks. You know?
Right.
The one and only Devonta Smith. He goes, "What up, 500? Even though I'm a Chiefs fan, just wanted to say hi. What's up? And I hope you're having a good day for Saturday. I'm having an okay day. We got 2 kittens left and got rehoming today, so that always bums me out a little bit. But other than that, I'm good, man. Ready? Gonna stream the Cowboys tomorrow, and hopefully they'll lose.
You got rid of Bam Bam?
No. Van Dam is still
Van
here.
Dam?
Van Dam and Rudy Rudiker are still here.
Okay.
And then I got a couple of the girls went, and my buddy Neo went. So I was pretty close to Neo. So it sucks.
Yeah.
But I think my cat's pregnant.
Again?
I think she's pregnant again. Yeah, she snuck out. Her and the dad had a rendezvous, and we called him all night long. So I'm sure he slipped one past the goalie. Many past the goalie. Jolo says, 500, any news about Reddick? I mean, I haven't heard anything except for that the Jets may have to come to the conclusion they're just going to have to trade him. But I mean, I don't see Reddick coming back. I mean, it could happen if Howie. It would be a crazy thing, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not putting much stock in the whole Reddick situation, to be honest.
No, I mean, look, we always say that Howie won't acquire certain players, but this one would be a crazy thing. It'd be very crazy. If whether he's going to hold out, whether he's going to, I don't know. If a team is going to have interest to pay him what he wants, the number must be that big. I don't know. I don't know what the number is, but I don't know.
It's $25 million is what I heard.
Yeah, I mean that's the rumor, but yeah.
I mean, he's a Jet at this point, and unless Howie pulls a trade, I got to tell you, I think I'd much rather go after Khalil Mack for 1 year, just for 1 year, because I think he had 1.5 sacks week 1. He looks like he still has it. He knows Vic Fangio. Let's do it, But we have to before. That's getting we're kind of getting ahead of things because we really have to give these guys a chance to go out and see what they can do. Huff, we haven't seen what he could do yet. We haven't seen Nolan Smith. Everybody's saying the field last week was horrible, and it was. So let's see what they do tomorrow. I think tomorrow is a great test. Danielson says you got to keep Van Dam. Well, there's negotiations ongoing about that. Eagles Army Down Under. Thank you for the super chat. He goes, "Hey, fellas, hope you're both well. I'm feeling 2 picks for Q and 2 sacks for Carter." Wow. So Jalen Carter, 2 sacks and 2 picks for Mitchell. I really love that, man. Let
me ask you a question. How comfortable do you feel Isaiah Rodgers coming to his first game? Do you think it's a good combination with Q inside now? Do you worry about Isaiah Rodgers as his first game coming in? I know he played some preseason, but how do you feel about all that?
I feel like after watching Quinyon Mitchell versus the Packers, there is not a chance in hell that I would move him inside. I'm not moving Quinyon Mitchell off that outside. He was fantastic. Keep him there. Either Isaiah Rodgers is going to have to be okay being a backup, or he's going to have to be willing to go inside. Now, the thing that's going on now is that they've increased Cooper DeJean's reps. So what you're going to see, and what I think they're doing, is they're getting Cooper DeJean ready to play the slot, and then they're going to keep Mitchell on the outside. And Rodgers, maybe they end up doing a trade. Maybe it becomes a trade deadline type move. I don't know, but I can't see Avonte Maddox continuing to start in that slot. And I don't see the point in moving Mitchell inside at this point. He's too good on the outside. Deshaun Jackson says under 47.5, Eagles, Falcons, lock it in. You should have told me that a day ago. I already bet the over. I already bet the over. Do you breed cats? I do not, but I am married to Catwoman. She does. Chris says, I love Reddick, but our defense seems to be playing as a team. We don't need an unnecessary sack chaser. Maybe that's exactly what we need.
Once we know, we're playing on a dry field on Monday night, because, honestly, I know the players didn't want to complain about it, but we know, I think that was, one of the biggest problems. Come on, Bryce Huff only has two assisted 2 assisted tackles. Nolan Smith didn't do much. Jalix Hunt didn't play. And Brandon Graham can only do so much. It seems that Josh Sweat probably played the best last week, even though he probably should have had a few penalties on some holding calls. So we have to, like Philly said, we have to give this a little bit more time with this pass rush and see how it kind of contributes. So it's too early right now.
Yeah, it is. I say, give it at least a month. But, I probably will jump the gun tomorrow. I'm saying I'll give it a month or Monday. But if they come out and they don't look good against Falcons, I am going to start worrying about it. Chris says, I love Reddick, but our defense playing team, we don't need I think I read that. Yeah. I mean, Reddick is the least what I'm worried about now. I've moved past him, the only reason we talk about him is because he's still holding out. But you figure if by the time Reddick gets in and then the time he's ready, I mean, we're blowing weeks and weeks upon weeks waiting for him. So I would rather go for Khalil Mack.
Yeah, it's they have the third the reason we talk about Reddick too, obviously, is the 3rd round conditional for 26 that could turn to a second. So you have to pay attention to it to see if he does come back. Like the more games he misses, the less likely we'll get that second round.
Let me ask you a question. What's the condition on?
It's like 60-something% of the snaps, 10+ sacks for the second round.
So what if he got traded back to the Eagles, just hypothetically, and then he played 68% of the snaps? Do they owe us a second round pick then?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Awesome.
I don't know if you're joking, but like, I don't know.
I'm wondering. Is
it strictly for him playing for another? So what if he gets traded to another team? Is that 3rd round conditional still in line with?
I would assume it's still alive. Yeah, I assume it would be, unless it says 68% of snaps for the Jets. Right. Worst behavior. Thank you for the super chat. He goes, Philly, I just want to give you a shout out to my battle buddy, or give a shout out to my battle buddy, Dylan Stevenson. He was a huge Eagles fan, loved watching UNLV. Sadly, he died last week on his 27th birthday.
Oh shit, dude, that's young.
Man, I'm sorry, man. God. Shout out to Dylan Stevenson. Rest in peace. God bless you. I'm sorry for your loss, worst behavior. That's horrible, man. That's horrible. And you said on his birthday. Man, I'm sorry, man. Prayers go out. Rest in peace, man. Sorry to hear that, man. Really, dude. That's horrible. But shout out to him, man. That sucks.
Yes.
Easy says, breaking news, Eagles signed Van Dam to a 4-time All-Pro pass rusher to join the Eagles bolster. He would do it, too. He would do. You like Van Dam as a channel master.
If we had a player called Van Dam, damn.
That would be cool,
great.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Foster Parks, member for 13 months. He goes, Q gonna make London his bitch if he starts out. So you mean Canadian rapper London? Drake London. He didn't do shit last week.
I mean, who they have? They have Ray McLeod. They have Darnell Mooney. Like they have a little bit of speed. I mean, it's really I think it's really Bijan and the tight end and Kyle Pitts. I think those are your biggest matchups for this game, honestly.
Well, based upon how Jacobs ran all over the run defense in the second half, Bijan is way more explosive. I look at, Bijan like I look at Barkley and like I look at Christian McCaffrey. I mean, we talked about this how many times during the draft. He's not a running back. He's a weapon. Barkley is a weapon. And they didn't use him right from what I was reading and watching and hearing from the Atlanta side of things. So we'll see. Michael says, sit AJ Monday. Hamstrings are nothing to play with. I agree with you if he tweaked it. Because I was a little bit confused by what Nick Sirianni said, because he said he felt tightness in there. Well, I could feel tightness in my hamstring and not have tweaked it, but say, okay, well, it's tight. I'm not going to mess around with it because I don't want to tweak it, and then come 2 days later and be fine. So if it's not tweaked, I say play. But if it's a little bit sore, then you have to really consider it.
Right.
Jacobs is better than Bijan. I know he's got a bigger resume.
Yeah,
I know that he's done more in the league. Right. I get that. But I'm telling you what, if I had to take one of them, I'd take Bijan Robinson. because I think in 2-3 years, I think he's more explosive than Jacobs.
It's different too because it's early in the season as well, and like sometimes some of these guys don't catch their stride until middle of the season. Like Bijan might not play well until maybe a few games later, maybe down the road. So it really depends on their coaching staff and what plays they dial up. And some players like just don't look good beginning of the season, then really start to rally their their stats up like crazy. So we'll see how he is, but he's still a weapon, a great weapon.
It sounded like to me they didn't use him right. I mean, from what I was reading, it sounded like they treated him like his name was DeAndre Swift. Last year they didn't play him. If Cousins is struggling as much as he is, I'd run Bijan Robinson 25 times versus the Eagles. So he stop him and you win this game. That's how I really believe. Kentucky just went up 3. Yeah, I got the game on. I should have. I didn't think this game was going to be close though. Barkley has never won a game against the Cowboys. Listen. If you have a bunch of high schoolers playing on a team with Saquon Barkley, how do you expect them to win any games? I mean, literally, he was playing with. I don't know. I mean, like. People don't understand how overrated Daniel Jones and the Giants have been for years. He's overrated. Like, as bad as Daniel Jones is, as stinky as he is, he's overrated. That offensive line is overrated. Literally, Barkley's the reason they got to the playoffs 2 years ago. Barkley carried that team. Barkley is going to decimate the Dallas Cowboys this year.
Do you think he could handle more than 26 touches? I mean, overall, because I feel like he can if they really need to use him more.
Yeah,
if they lose, if they lose AJ Brown, do you expect a bigger run game? Do you think any in replacement? Do you think anyone else could really step up on that outside spot?
Well, Devonta Smith is going to have a monster game.
Well, besides him.
Well, I do think that Campbell could come out and play maybe on the outside a little bit, even though I don't know how many snaps he takes out there. But Dotson has played on the outside before, right? I mean, so there are guys that can do it for one game. As far as Barkley goes, I think you've got to use a lot of Barkley early in the season. As you're adjusting and your offense is learning, and they're getting acclimated to this new system. I think this is when you use the crap out of Barkley. You back off in the middle part of the season, cut it down a little bit, and then at the end of the year going to playoffs, you use them again. But I'm not holding back. If Barkley's running the ball 4 yards a pop, I'm running them, man.
Yeah, I get it.
I really think people who are like, well, Barkley never beat the Cowboys, or Barkley never did this, or Barkley never did that. I mean, I've been saying this all off season. Barkley played with nothing. I mean, even worse than what people think. Even worse than what people think. He played with nothing. You saw him. The first few games, remember what we said before the season started? You got to give Barkley the first couple quarters because he's going to get the ball and he's going to dance. As soon as he touches the ball, he's going to start to dance. That's what he did. Because he's so used to getting the ball and having to make the first guy miss right away. Once he realized, man, I got holes I can run through, he just started killing people. Barkley is a monster, and he's going to have a monster year. I think Barkley is underrated, and I think the Giants are overrated, and I think people should be scared of Barkley on the Eagles.
Yeah, you replace him with Devin Singletary. I mean, it's not. They went through the cheap wave of backs, and they didn't want to pay the 12. They didn't think the Giants don't believe in a big contract QB hand off to a $12 million back. That's what they believe. But you start to see in that first game, even though it is the first game, that like Barkley was 2/3 of that offense, no doubt. And the quarterback is struggling because of that, and obviously no confidence and a lot of other things involved. And the way they've built that roster the last few years, they've signed big free agent signings that haven't panned out. No offensive line. No, they haven't really had a good tight end in a lot of years. I mean, it's been a lot of different things with that offense. The defense is good. I think the defense, honestly, for the Giants could be a good defense, but they're going to be on the field so much because the offense can't sustain drives every single game. So.
Yeah. Logan says, are we good with Barkley? Yeah, I mean, I think Barkley will have a great year with us. Young Boy says, are we sold on Kellen, or are we starting to see the same index card playbook? Can't imagine Reed's scheme with this team. I mean, listen, I think Kellen Moore is going to be good, but we got to give it the full year. I do think that there were times where it looked like exactly like last year, and I do think that they're still putting too much from stuff last year in the playbook. They need to take out. That's how I feel. You know, it's weird because it was like, if you look at the way the Eagles struggled that game, it was like they moved the ball. But when the plays came up that were like, that looked bad or didn't work, it was always like multiple plays in a row. It wasn't like one play bad, two great plays, another bad play. It was like three bad plays, you know, and then a stretch of great plays. It was always in the same sequence, which is weird.
Yeah.
And Dad says we need to make a hat saying Barkley going to make running backs great again.
Dude, and do me a favor, honestly. Like, if you're in red zone, if you're in short yardage, dude, stop with the read option keeper. Stop trying to get cute with some of these plays. Obviously, the read option does help a lot. Run with Barkley, man. Like, make things so simple and easy. Barkley can get especially with the offensive line in front of him on short yardage. I mean, Barkley can carry guys on his back for an extra few yards. It makes it so much easier, more simple. Just run the ball with him. I mean, even the tush push, I don't know if I'm even comfortable running that play at this point, because obviously we know how the offseason program went. So just crazy.
Yeah. Now I will say this. The Falcons held Najee Harris to like 3.3 yards a carry last week. And coming into the season, they're supposed to be pretty decent against the run. I'm not saying that they're great, but they're supposed to be, you know, that's supposed to be one of their stronger suits. I think there was more questions about their pass rush, which is why they went out and got Matt Judon. But, you know, obviously Pittsburgh is no Philly with that offensive line and stuff. I actually think this is going to be a huge Devonta Smith game. Like I said, I think the Eagles come out throwing this game, and then I think they run. And I think Devonta Smith has a big game, and I think Jalen Hurts is not going to turn the ball over once.
Yeah.
Everybody mark that down. Brooks, thank you for a super chat. He goes, Goddard will step up and get a touchdown. Yeah, I'm having a Goddard type feel about this game also. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Falcons don't have enough firepower, Mr. What's that?
There's a lot of mouths to feed in this offense. So, I mean, here's the thing with Eagle fans this year is that because you have so many weapons, there's only so many people you could target in a game. And even if Devonta Smith might have a lower yard game, like Devonta Smith really didn't show up in that last game until like the end of the game, really, where it really battered. Because I thought the coverage was good on AJ Brown and especially on Devonta Smith the whole entire game. So, like I said, I think how many yards did Goddard have? Like 30 something. I mean, any time he was passed the ball to it, he had that one big reception. So, I think he's starting to take a turn, and obviously he has to stay healthy. We know how we feel about the tight end group right now. I thought both tight ends played really good for what was given to them last Friday.
Yeah, well, you know, if AJ Brown plays, it'll probably be going up against AJ Terrell, the corner. Now Pickens kind of ate him alive last week, so you figure if he does that, Brown would do that as well. But I mean, we'll see if Brown plays. You know. Mr. Nat, Falcons don't have enough firepower. I don't think they have it either. The only way that they really have a chance is that I think Bijan Robinson has to have a huge game for them. I think if he does like run the ball well, obviously that would open up things for Kirk Cousins and give him time. But if the Eagles eliminate Bijan Robinson or the Falcons fall behind, I think it's over, man. I think it's over.
I agree.
You know. We played Green Bay. You know that team crush. Oh, you're talking about to somebody else. Yeah, I think it's Cowboy fans have gone insane. Like right now, they're I keep getting that they beat the Browns, we beat the Packers, and the Browns are better than the Packers. How could you look at the Browns and that offense being
not
as
that quarterback
inept as it is and think that they're possibly better than Green Bay? Green Bay is a good team. I mean, I don't think the Eagles got enough credit this week for beating the Packers. That's a good team, man. It's a good team. Michael says Smitty could get 4 receptions for 100 yards, but if he continues to line up in the slot, he's probably going to break the all-time receptions in a season. I don't know about you guys, but man, did he look like he has another gear this year? Like he looked so fast to me. And the other thing about Devonta Smith is his catches were all important catches. Like they were like third down conversions, keep the chains moving. I think he looked fantastic. You know. Twit says, I just told you 2 years ago we were looking at the Philadelphia quarterback. I don't want to call any names, but we're looking at him. He had fallen to us. Are you talking about Jerry? Yeah. We must have Cowboy fans feeling good about themselves.
Well, it's September.
Unfortunately, yeah, they're the best. They're great in September. They're really good in October. They're okay in November. And then they collapse in December, January. That winter that December air, that Christmas breeze comes in, and you know it's over. I wake up December 1st, I go, Cowboys choke season. Let me turn on my Christmas tree.
Eggnog in hand.
Eggnog in hand. Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting. Now the Cowboys play. The Saints tomorrow. Unfortunately, I think the Cowboys are going to beat them. I don't know how good the Saints are. I mean, they scored 47 points, but they're always better at home anyways. And, you know, I think that I'm afraid that the Saints probably blew their load last week. So I expect them to lose to Dallas and then play us in a tougher game.
Don't read that. Don't read that. Don't read the name. Don't just read what he said.
Okay. Thank you for the super chat. He said, hey, Joey, do you remember me? Thank you for telling me that, Joey, because I didn't even look.
I made sure. So,
idiot. What an idiot. Really, can you imagine paying money to do that? Like, what's the point?
No point.
And I'm gonna have to go, and I will go back after the video, and I will literally edit that out of.
No, it's fine. It's not gonna. It's fine. But I'm saying the way you're gonna.
No, I just don't like it. It pisses me off. You know, Logan Motorsports. He goes, "We them boys, September, December, choke in January." I thought it was. I don't know. Is that what it said, right?
Yeah, he didn't want to spell
Slithering Cobras. Hey, Philly, I'm so happy Dean and Bond are playing well. It feels good to have good linebackers. Yeah, I agree. What are your thoughts on Bond, man? Do you think that we got the real deal, or do you think
it's one game? It's 15 tackles, 11 solos, and 2 sacks. And if he plays like that all season, we're gonna be like, what are we doing here? Like they got to make an early signing, make a move. I mean, the Kobe Dean had a good game too. I mean, it's great. The Zach Bond thing, I'm still really shocked over it because I didn't really expect him to play like that at all. Yeah, man, they just gotta keep rolling, man. They just gotta keep going. I'm loving it.
Exactly.
No doubt.
Exactly. I think Bond's the real deal. I just when you look at his athleticism and the way he moves, like I think he's good, man. I think he's going to be good. And I think the Eagles got to fight. Now he might not be great in like another system, but I think for what they want to do, I think he's going to be good.
He's going to be a Vic Fangio guy. That's what he's going to be a Van Ginkel. He's going to be a Van Ginkel of the defense because Van Ginkel was really a nobody till his last year. And look what he did in Miami. Got a new contract with the Vikings.
Yeah. Oh, he came and what did he do? His first contract with the Vikings, he gets a pick 6. Now it's Daniel Jones throwing it, but he looked. I watched that game and Van Ginkel was very good. Michael says I wouldn't count out the Saints. I'm not betting them, but their O-line is very solid. They ain't tissue paper like the Browns. If they come to play, I give them a chance. I hope you're right. I mean, I honestly don't know how to look at the Saints. I always assume that they just play better at home. But I hope you're right. I mean, I'm going to be streaming it, rooting for them. So if they pull this off, man, it's going to be a fun day. It's going to be a fun day.
Yeah.
Pickett got benched. What are your thoughts on? I mean, obviously you see what happened to Tua, which is horrible, man.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of rumors now that the Eagles should trade Pickett to Miami. Would Miami even want him? I mean, their backup quarterbacks look horrendous, dude. So I don't know if they would be interested or not.
Really depends on who's left out there, and it's probably not much, or I don't know. They go with what they have just because they know the system better. It's really just what's going to be the better situation for that quarterback. So I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible. But it's unfortunate. So Pickett, I don't think there's interest. Where's the value? There's no value. Like, where's the value? What are you gonna get? You're not getting a third round. Sorry, you're not. Well, they didn't really give up that, but I'm saying, what are you gonna get back for it anyway? A late round pick that they probably can get, maybe 7th round.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
You'll feel like I got the Eagles blowing out the Falcons. I'll tell you guys right up. I have the Eagles winning 34-20. I think 34-20 will be the final score. I think Devonta, huge game. I think Barkley, another big game. And I think Hurts is going to have a good game and no turnovers.
Yeah, if they can stop the run game, make the Falcons offense one-dimensional, and then kind of rattle Kirk Cousins a little bit and make him nervous in Philadelphia, I mean right there. So that's huge, being home this week, an actual home game. So I think once they rattle him and shut the run game down, I think they'll be good. I think that's all they really have to do. So
yeah, listen, Kirk Cousins. People say to me, "Who's a bigger choker, Kirk Cousins or Dak Prescott?" And I always have to say that at least with Dak in the regular season on a Monday night or Sunday, he could have a good game.
Right.
He could have good games during the regular season. In the playoffs, he stinks. But Kirk Cousins, dude, his record on Monday night is like horrendous. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And he always, if you remember, he always has like one bonehead play. Like he fumbles for no reason. Something happened. Like just one bonehead play every primetime game. So I think if you were to eliminate Bijan Robinson in this game, and then you were able to get pressure on Kirk, especially up the middle, I think he's going to fold, man. I think it's going to be a big game. Quinyon Mitchell might get a pick six. Don't be surprised.
The only thing I can really say about Kirk Cousins coming to Philly is that he's played in Philly a bunch of times in front of that crowd. So I would think that he would be used to it by now and knows what he's getting into. But like I said, it's the primetime spotlight that he's struggling with.
I mean, one of the things that they were saying about him was that he planting his foot. It looks like he just doesn't trust it or whatever. But he wasn't getting a lot of velocity. And I didn't watch the game, but I'm just telling you things I heard from the Atlanta side of it, that not a lot of velocity, off his throws and stuff. So if he's still hurt and he's stationary, he's in big trouble. Rich says, they made sidewalks because the streets ain't for everybody. There you go. That's a hell of a quote. Yeah, I just want to know how long ago did they get sidewalks in North Dakota, though? I mean, probably fairly new, right? No, I'm just kidding, North Dakotians. I'm just kidding.
North Dakotians.
Let's see. When they have rookies starting, it's impressive. When the Eagles have rookies starting, it's trash. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Now, what are you thinking? Do you think we're going to see a lot of Bijan tomorrow? Do you think they'll keep Rodgers on? Do you think they're going to play Rodgers or are they going to keep Mitchell in? Like, what do you think they're going to do?
I think they have to play Rodgers. I think you have the upgrade inside with Quinyon, as much as selfishly we want him to play on the outside. But Bijan rumors in practice this week, and Fangio said last week he's really trying to catch up because he missed a lot of time. So now he hasn't moved anywhere in these practices this week. It's been nickel. It's been inside corner. That's all it's been. So situational, he'll play on Monday, whether it's dime, nickel, whatever the case may be. But I think he will have playing time. But I mean, look, if Isaiah Rodgers does struggle in this game, I feel like this is going to happen, Phil. I think later this season they're gonna push Isaiah Rodgers out. I don't. It's like you don't want it to happen, but what if Isaiah Rodgers is playing on a crazy level this year? Like that's the hard part about the whole situation. You don't want to redshirt, have him play a few snaps a game on certain. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Well, they had Devin White started every practice. Was a starter every practice. And as soon as you got the regular season, it was like, boom, he lost his job. I feel like the way Mitchell came out and played, like, to me, it's hard for me to want to put him back in slot. Now, they could, but, man, I thought Mitchell played really, really good. I was very comfortable with him on the outside.
I was already afraid of Devin White. I was already afraid of Devin White coming in they were in a bench Dean. I had a feeling they were going to bench Dean this week just because it seems like they favored Devin White, but Fangio says that Nakobe Dean has played better in training camp from start to finish, which I don't think I can believe that because of how Devin White pretty much has started middle, Mike linebacker every single practice and joint practice. So I think he's just trying to change his ways. Really?
I actually do believe it. Yeah, because I watched Nakobe. I mean, based upon what we saw in that Baltimore preseason game, like he was making an impact on the field. So I could see it where he had a slow start, but man, he looked. I remember talking the last 2 preseason games, going like Nakobe Dean was one of the best players on the field. So in that level, it didn't surprise me at all. Just the way it happened is like where nobody knew that was the plan is what shocked me. Clifford Johnson says, "What up, guys? Great show. Thank you, my man. Thank you." Dylan Jordan Davis, super chat, my man. He goes, "The fans who crap talked AJ should be ashamed. The guy wears his heart on his sleeves. More disappointing knowing he battles with mental health." Yeah, I've never understood the AJ Brown hate. Everybody always jumps to the conclusion. You see him saying something on the sideline that he's automatically crying for the ball. He has said it. He doesn't. I thought he tried to really be a leader at the end of last year, and I thought he got shut down. But I don't know. I love AJ Brown. I have no issue with him at all.
No, not at all.
You know what I mean?
No.
Thank you for that super tech. Chris Gus says Barkley is just getting started with this Eagles team. NFC is in trouble. Oh, I agree. I agree.
NFC Offensive Player of the Week as well, which is great.
Yeah. Jeremy Bishop, David Super Chat goes, "Hey, 500 Joey, I'm just getting into football. What is the best ways to learn the rules, plays, etc.? Go Birds." There's all sorts of videos that will go over the basics. And show you examples of things, go over different defenses, different schemes, from the beginning to advance. You just got to look up. I don't know what those channels are off the top of my head, but they're all over the place on YouTube. I'm pretty sure. But that's what I would do. Just go check out some of these channels that Football 101 or whatever, and they'll basically they'll tell you all the things that you want to know. Big Privolo, Dave for the super chat. He goes, "Don't see how the Eagles don't win this game. Kirk looks like a statue. Defense should get pressure. Expecting a big game by Hurts. I expect a big game by Hurts and the offense as well. Does anybody expecting anything from Bryce Huff? Or anybody expecting AJ? I mean, who on the defensive line? Who has the big game? That's what I want to know. And thank you for that super chat, my man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think this could be. I thought Jalen Carter got dude, he was held so much last week. There was one point where 2 guys were on his back, around his neck, and he was running forward, and they would not call hold. I don't understand it. I think Jalen Carter is going to have a big game this week too. I do.
Yeah, we're going to see who pops up, especially the edge. I'm not really worried about DT too much because I really liked. Did you really like even Jordan Davis? Did he really was he really crazy in the game? I don't think the whole entire game. I think Carter was really the one getting a lot of attention. But I mean, the DTs I feel good about. It's really the edge is where I'm
Yeah, I didn't like. I mean, when you think about the run defense, you're going to think about Jordan Davis. I mean, they did a great job against the run in the first half, but they fell off in the second half. I want to see a good rebound this week from them. But I don't worry about those defensive tackles. I do worry about the edge rushers. That's the whole thing. I mean, you know, we talk about Huff and we talk about Nolan Smith, but where is Josh Sweat? Josh Sweat, he has to show up. He has to, you know. So I want to see those guys show up, you know. It would be great, Twits, if Huff goes out there and has a 2-sack game. I mean, we need something like that, you know.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Dude, it's the same dude every week.
Kenny Pickett's back.
Stuff. It's just like, dude, stop. If you would just even like not spam, I would just let it go.
Just block the dude. He's gonna come back with 30 more counts anyway.
I think I got about 80
don't even time him out. It's a waste of time.
Nathan Smith said the man said Cox was getting our sacks. He was shutting down the run, little man. What? Did I say Cox? Did I? If I said that, I'm sorry.
No, it must have been somebody. I don't know. I don't think you did.
I don't know.
No.
I thought I said Davis, but who knows? Who knows? Splendid says 500. I watched the game. Falcons game. Cousins was a statue the entire time. No under center, all shotgun. Yeah, they said that they just kept dropping him back. They didn't use any rolling out, and they didn't use enough Bijan. They said that this was like this was the least he's moved in his whole career in the pocket. He just stayed there. So I assume that they're going to come out and try to run the ball with Bijan, try to start getting their running game going, and then play off of the play action and try to roll him out and buy him time. I assume that's what they're looking at doing this week against the Eagles. So that's why my key to the game is to shut down the Falcons running game. You shut that running game, I think it's a checkmate.
Yeah, true.
You know. 500, come on now, you're acting like that pass rush is Lawrence Taylor. What the hell did I say?
That? Who said that?
I literally just said we want to see these guys show up, and where is Josh Sweat? Did I not just say that? So how could I have said that we got Lawrence Taylor back there? I don't understand. Man, sometimes you guys just make up things. And if we did take understand 100% running play, yeah. Brooks said, David Super J goes, wish we just signed Hassan Reddick to a new contract. Yeah, I don't know, man. The whole Reddick thing is crazy. I'm actually more interested in Khalil Mack. I said that twice, I think, already, but I don't know. He just seems like 1 year, a good fit, knows Vic Fangio. He doesn't look like Robert Quinn, because Robert Quinn came out the year after 17 sacks and did nothing. And Khalil Mack comes out and has a sack and a half his first game. So it looks like he has stuff left, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Willis, a member for 1 month. Shake them down. And thank you. Is it me or you? But thank you so much for your support. To shake them down, predict Carter 2 Davis 1 sack. I like it. 3 sacks from the interior.
That'd be great.
That's good. You want to know what I think? I'll give you a hot take or like a hot prediction. Zach Bond, 2 more sacks this game. He's going to have 2 more sacks. 4 sacks on the air. That's my prediction.
Because they started moving Zach Bond on the edge when they weren't getting any pressure. Like, so if Vic Fangio's not getting pressure with his defensive line, he's going to blitz a lot more. The blitz packages are going to come, and they're going to move Zach Bond. They've moved Zach Bond on the edge. They were kind of, just letting him loose. And I actually really like that a lot. So he could have 2 sacks. Right. It would shock me, but I want him to still have another big game this week.
Yeah. Entertainer says they're canceling 500 for what? Cancel me for what? It doesn't even make any sense, because I said Fletcher Cox said Jordan Davis. They're trying to rob Georgia. This is not a close call. I didn't see the play. Let's see here. Cowboy. Reddick called out the front office. No way he will ever get him. What did he say? I didn't hear. He called the Eagles front office or the Jets front office. Which one is he talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. Davey, member for 6 months. Thank you so much. He goes, it's been a long time since we blew a team out. Yeah. I mean, I guess you're right. I don't think you could have expected them to blow out the Packers on a neutral field. That wasn't going to happen. This is going to be this. I mean, what do you consider a blowout? I think the Eagles win by double digits this game.
I agree.
So, I mean, we'll see. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter will bring in a tsunami wave over Cousins. I love it. Jay says, I still want Khalil Mack and Yannick Ngakoue. I'm very interested in the Khalil Mack thing. That would be cool.
Yeah, Yannick's still out there, surprisingly.
Yeah. Mr. Wink, thank you for the super chat. He goes, Philly Joey, every time I see Sirianni feels just like a mascot. He's got to be gone next year, right? And Kellen elevated.
Not if they're playing well.
Time will tell. Time will tell. Hopefully, to me, we'll be 13 and 14 wins, 14-3. We'll be an NFC Championship game, and it's not something we'll have to deal with. I don't want him to fail. I want him to succeed. I want everybody on this team to succeed because I think we're good enough to at least get to the NFC Championship game, if not more.
Yeah, I agree. Got to be that.
Yeah, Janet B says, we have not blown a team out since the NFC Championship game in 2022, unless you count the 31-17 win versus Miami. Yeah, I don't consider that Miami game. That was kind of close, right, until the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Oh, Trey Hendrickson would be – yeah, he would be a good option too. But the problem is the Bengals, they won't – I don't think they'll trade them. They don't like trading their players like that, So, we'll see. Let's see here. Let's see. Easy says, hey, 500, did you know if Parsons gets paid at the highest for his position and CD, Dak, and Parsons, those three players would be worth 66% of the salary cap for the Cowboys? Yeah. That's a lot of money, dude. I'm so happy that they signed Dak Prescott to the money that they did. I love that.
Yeah, that's a lot. I was already shocked over the Dak Prescott extension a little bit, but
yeah, I knew they were gonna do it. I was surprised that they did it right before the start of the season, but it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Michael says, I like to see Hunt use more. Let's see what the Rooks got. Now, did he dress the last game or was he out with an oblique injury?
Who, Hunt? Yeah. He didn't play
last week.
He didn't play. No.
Yeah, see, to me, he's the wild card because I know that guy has talent. I know I'm telling you, he's going to be a player. It's just how quickly can they get him on the field? Maybe you get him on the field, he starts playing, and then takes care of all our problems. If we have problems, if those guys go out and Huff gets 2 sacks and Sweat gets a sack and Nolan Smith gets – it's not going to be a problem, Let's see. They are right. The last blowout was in the NFC Championship game. Before that, we went to Super Bowl. Yeah, well, then we're due. I do think this is going to be – like I said, I got the Eagles winning 34-20, and I think that's going to be a lot closer than what we're going to see on the field. So I think this will be a blowout. I do. It's a different year now, 500, you think Devin White will play this week? That video was sad to watch. Oh, it was sad. In the press conference, it was sad. But I'm not giving up on Devin White. I think Devin White just needs to keep his head, needs to, I think it's all for his benefit. Like, if you think about it, right, one of the things that they said was he's immature, he doesn't handle things well. Well, if he comes this year and he handles this well, and then he gets his opportunity to play and he plays good, it may benefit him in the long run. He's just got to hang in there. I think Devin White will make an impact on this team at some point. I heard some people suggest that he should move to an edge rusher like Hassan Reddick. I think that would be a very interesting idea.
Mm.
If he could do that, because he's
He
a
could do
very
that.
good blitzer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, King of Kings, every super chat, my man. He goes, "Hey, 508 Joey, I ordered my Kelly Green shirts. Oh, very, very
Nice.
cool.
Nice.
Oh, I don't have the dang whatchamacallit.
What, the video? You don't have the videos on there?
Yeah, I don't have it. No.
You're good.
But this is the Barkley one. I don't have it. Dang it. I knew I forgot to upload it. Right, check. You guys check the Q shirts. The link is in the description. They're awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
I'm sorry, I meant to upload it and I forgot. Let's see here. Let's have a great defensive game on Monday night. Yeah, let's do it. I mean, we're due. We need a big game.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
So they do.
So what is your prediction for score?
Like I said, they'll be up. They should. I never go ahead and say they're going to kill a team. They're going to annihilate a team. But if this is the week to do it, this is the week to do it. Where, I think they could score over 34 this game. I think we'll hold them to about maybe 20, 21, 24 points, maybe. But I think we'll have a good game. I'm hoping a comfortable game. It's never comfortable, but hopefully this is the first game where we'll have our first semi blowout this season. That's what
Is
hope.
there anybody that you are worried about besides BJ what's his face? Robinson?
Yeah, I mean Kyle Pitts, obviously. I mean, with Quignon on the inside, maybe I'm not as nervous, but at the same time, he did so well on the outside, and putting him at the inside corner spot now, I feel comfortable. Like I'm not nervous for Isaiah Rodgers, but I feel like he just hasn't played. He hasn't played in a while, and he's been injured. He had a broken hand. We found out he had surgery on it, so that was a huge thing. Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Jacob says Joey blew out my mom 50-10.
I did a good job then. And I did a great job.
There you go. I don't know, man. I don't know how you could talk about your mom like that. You guys are weird to me.
I mean,
Trey Diesel, they were super chat. What up, what up, Shakes? How's it going, guys? So what do you guys want to see from our team Monday night? I want to see the edge get home. And I also, like I talked about, I want to see this run defense be stout. I want to see Jordan Davis have a big game. I want to see him, really take up space and just cause a lot of havoc on that line. But I do agree with you about the edge rushers. That's what I would say. What about you?
No, we need the edge rush. The defensive line is probably the number one thing that I want to be very successful. We got to see where they're at. I think that first game with the field conditions, I know we talk about it a million times. I just feel like I haven't seen enough from it yet. I want the linebackers I want Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean to play really well another game. And each game that passes by, we're going to see hopefully a position kind of rise to the top. It'd be nice if we can get a pass rush. It would help out the corners, help out the linebackers so much. Really just getting pressure on Kirk Cousins. I want to see how that develops from our edge rush position and to the inside. So,
yeah. Dwight Davis sees an upset on Monday. 500, I see an upset on Monday Night Football. Them dirty birds coming, so buckle up. Nobody's scared of them. We'll see.
No,
I mean, listen, if the Eagles lost that game, it would be very upsetting, that would be the equivalent of if you guys lost to the Saints. So, yeah, I mean, it would be upsetting. Yeah, out of bounds play. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to say Jalen Hurts is not going to have a turnover this week. I think he has no turnovers this game. And hopefully he'll shut critics for 1 week.
And like I said, the defense take advantage of the turnovers too. How many? We had the Reed Blankenship interception. They dropped a pick six. They could recover a fumble from the Josh Jacobs. Slade got the fumble. Slade knocked the ball out of Josh Jacobs' hands. They got to take advantage of getting put the offense in short field. Got the one pick, but like I said, too many easy drop turnovers or not getting fumbles, whatnot. So
Yeah.
Got to get some turnovers with this defense, no doubt.
Yeah. Sandeep says, is AJ? No, AJ is questionable. So it's 50. It's 50-50. Joey thinks he's not going to play. I don't know. I really think it's just up in the air, you know.
And I think part of it too is that you don't want to tell well, of course they're going to say it's up in the air because they're not going to give the injury report to the Falcons and say that he's playing or he's not playing. So he might not. I feel like he's not playing just because they're not just going to put the news out that AJ is playing or not playing, if you know what I mean. Like they're not going to give out that report out. So but
you guys give Nick so much crap. These players love him. They always have Nick's back. LB did an interview with him, and he said one of the first things CJ brought up was Nick. Give him a chance. I was trying to go this whole stream without not saying anything negative about Nick Sirianni.
Yes,
I was trying, but you've just blown that. So I'm going to have to be honest with you. I don't think Nick should have kept his job. I've said that a countless amount of times. And just because players have a guy's back or like him doesn't mean he's always the best thing. Now, I'm rooting for Nick and I want him to do good, but you can't tell me that everything is hunky-dory. I mean, we've all heard the reports about the Hurts and his relationship. So I don't know that that's true. Do players like him? I think a lot of players do like him. And I think that's the one saving grace on why the Eagles kept him. But, I mean, come on. You can't not say if somebody doesn't do something right. I'm not going out with him and trashing him because I'm picking on him. I'm just telling you what I see and what I think. I have nothing against Nick Sirianni as a person or whatever, but you had an epic historic collapse last year. And I'm hoping that things get turned around. He's the coach. I want him to succeed. I literally said that earlier in this stream. I want him to do great this year. I do.
Philly is 100% correct. And what I'll add to that is that Nick Sirianni fucked up our season last year. We found out middle of the season that he had control of the offense. He was in charge of game planning and then literally piggybacking it off to our so-called offensive coordinator, to Brian Johnson. Now, there was close sources to the situation that's close to Hurts is that Hurts would have these meetings with Sirianni and Brian Johnson. There was a huge disconnect last year during the season. Hurts tried to change things, more intermediate passes, stuff like that, and it was swept under the rug, and they never made adjustments. Defenses have adjusted to our offense last year. The Eagles never adjusted back, and that was the biggest problem. Our talent only brought us so far last year, from 10-1 to a total collapse. That was on Nick Sirianni. So the players stick up for him. That's perfectly fine. As long as he doesn't lose the locker room, then he's fine. But this comes to not on the personal level, but we're talking about him as a coach and as where his ego gets in the way of these seasons where he has to take control over certain things. After Steichen leaves, he said, you know what? He never incorporated one play out of Steichen's playbook last year. It was literally the most bland, most vanilla, most boring, most consistently bad offensive play calls, probably with 10 plays in a playbook that I've ever seen in my life. So if there was any man to get blame, it's Nick Sirianni. So you go into another year with two coordinators that are coming in that have, I'm hoping, most of the control. I know Fangio does. Kellen Moore, me and Philly are still like figuring out, like, is Nick still incorporating some of these bonehead plays that he still is in this offense from the first game? Because it definitely looked like that at certain times. Certain sequences did not look good in this first game. Do we blame on the offseason program? Is it Nick Sirianni? So that's where I'm at with the whole situation going forward.
No, I mean, I'm not trying to pick on Nick Sirianni, but I mean, you got to call it honest. I mean, you don't think that first quarter was a direct result of Nick Sirianni's decision not to play anybody during preseason? Because I sure do. And if I criticize him, week one season, I'm not going to say fire him. Week two, I'm not going to say fire. I'm not saying anything like that. But you got to be able to talk about the guy if he does something. Just because the players like him doesn't mean that you can't criticize him if I have not called for him to get fired or anything this year. I thought he should have been released last year, but they brought him back. I hope he does great, but it is what it is. I hope the guy goes out. They win 14 games. He wins the Super Bowl, obviously. So, how I'm not picking on Nick Sirianni. I feel like people say, oh, you're picking on him. I'm not. I'm just telling you the way I see it. And I'm just being honest about it, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, I defend him to a certain. After that season last year, I didn't want to hear a press conference from him in the offseason, but he did humble himself at a press conference before the season started and said, hey, it was my fault last year. If I hear that, I feel good about it, at least like he says that. But has the offense really changed into Kellen Moore's favor? Because I'm sorry, but I see Nick with a little thing that he checks off. I feel like there are a specific amount of plays that Nick wants to incorporate on every series. I feel like he tells him he doesn't go up to Kellen Moore, but he tells him through the microphone, incorporate, play, whatever, however they give the plays out to each other. And I feel like we see those bonehead plays every once in a while. And we're kind of like, and you said like the beginning of the game, like it just looked like not only the offseason program, like I think the practices have been demanding. I think it's been one of the hardest training camps the Eagles have ever had. But I feel like you can't have an offseason program where your guys cannot gel together. I mean, you couldn't even get a push tush right. I mean, a snap, two snaps. You're telling me that this offense had a lot of work together between joint practices, and you can only get so far practicing with each other every day,
Right.
And
yeah,
I don't know.
I had nothing. I don't think had anything to say about Nick Sirianni today, really, until that comment. Go F yourself. They were Super Chat goes, what did Nick Sirianni effing do? Well, that's a great question. Dave Super Chat. 3 Step says, play-by-play raid with JJ Raid. Oh, thank you. Play-by-play with JJ Raid. We love you, Philly. Hey, I love you guys too. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. That's very cool of you. I honestly, I'm rooting for Nick. I want him to succeed. I do, and I'm not out to come in here and criticize him. But I thought it was fair last week because it was no preseason playing time, so I thought it was warranted. Lucius the show, they were Super Chat. He goes, Kirk will be sacked 9 times like Wentz was in 2022. Yeah, it could be a long day for him. Listen, I'll admit this. There's guys that I pick on. I have picked on Nate Gary. I've picked on Aguilar. I don't feel like I'm picking on Nick Sirianni. I don't. I feel like it's been fair. Jacob, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, how last year ended may benefit us this year. Sometimes failures like that builds a team. It does. It can build a team. It can break a team. You're right. It's how they handle it, Yeah,
100%.
Mr. Nash, I liked him on Mic Up. He in his CEO head coach role. Yeah, I think the role that they have for Nick, and I said this, I think it could work very well for Nick Sirianni, where you have an offensive player, offensive play caller, defensive play, and I actually am okay with that and seeing how it goes. I think it's much better than the role last year, but I don't think it was unfair to blame Nick for things that happened last year.
Yeah,
and week 1.
And as to the future too, it's like, okay, so what are the 3 things that could happen at the end of the year if they reach the NFC Championship game and lose, they reach Super Bowl and lose, whatever the case may be with that? There's 3 things they could do. Like, one, they could keep Kellen Moore at OC and pay him a shit ton of money and say, hey, money talks at the end of the day. Maybe you'll have a little bit more control over what they do behind the scenes in secret. The second thing they could do is they could demote Nick Sirianni as an assistant head coaching role and have Kellen Moore as the actual head coach, calling plays, keeping everything in-house, because you can't block Kellen Moore from getting a head coaching job because it is an upgraded position. If he gets another OC job, you can block that, but as a head coaching job, there's nothing they could do, so they have to act fast. And obviously Nick, we can't rely on Nick calling plays and keeping everything at home. So that's going to be one of the big things. If they have a good year this year, you can't fire Nick. I don't think they can do that. I think that will decimate. It will decimate your locker room. It will. Yeah, players will question what the Eagles are going to be doing in the future, and that's where I'm at. So
Rich says you guys blame Nick for literally everything. If Hurts tripped in the kitchen, you guys would say it's Nick's fault somehow.
Exactly.
Timestamp. I love these things where I get accused and I tell people timestamp and show me where I blame him for Hurts tripping in the kitchen or tripping on the field. Show me where I blame Nick Sirianni for Hurts tripping. It doesn't happen. I blame Nick Sirianni for the first quarter last week because when Hurts threw the interception and the fumble because they did not play in preseason. That's a fair criticism. But I love how people accuse you of saying certain things that you never said. And all I can say is timestamp. Show me. Because I believe that everything I've said about Nick has been fair. And if you don't put any blame on Nick Sirianni for what happened at the end of last year, I don't know what to tell you.
There are Eagle fans like that, Philly. There are so many Eagle fans that they will ride past. Even when we were on our downfall last year, there were so many Eagle fans that would literally see through the coaching staff, not even pay attention to what they're doing, and blame it on the QB. Yes. Do the turnovers need to stop? Yes. With Jalen Hurts on those 2 picks, does he need to fix that? Yes. He made some really bad choices in that game. Okay. And it's got to get fixed. And as you know, this is and it's connection into Nick Sirianni's offseason program with, you know what I mean? Like the one thing they did in the offseason, which was good, is they brought back minicamp. The Eagles have not had minicamp one time since Nick has been the head coach, because most of the time the Eagles play really far into the playoffs. They didn't think it was necessary to have minicamp. I get it. In 22, we didn't have minicamp. We were fine. In 22, we had the same exact type offseason like this year, and we were fine. We had a slow start last year as well. So a slow start the whole season last year. So it's all on Nick getting these guys prepared. So if Hurts throws a pick in a game, I'm going to put it on the QB. Most likely, on an unnecessary situation where you're backed up at the 6-yard line, where, you know what, just run the ball, get some yards, run a short screener, run the ball in general just to get some yards so you can punt the ball, not try to throw it from your own side of the field and almost in the end zone and give up a short completion. But luckily the defense held up six points on 2 drives, on 2 big mistakes.
Defense did great. Yeah, they did great. And they played a little more too. Like those guys played in preseason. I mean, my only criticism of him last week was I just thought that first – and listen, Jalen Hurts obviously threw the ball, so he deserves, to be, blamed, for that interception. But I just thought the way they came out in the first quarter was a result of not playing. I think that's a fair criticism. I don't think I've been overly harsh on Nick Sirianni. I don't. And I think that the role he's in now, I think he'll be fine. And and I'm not looking and looking for any way to come up with a reason to fire. I'm not doing any of that. But if I see something, I'm going to say it. I'm just going to be honest about it. And if it annoys people and it bothers them, it triggers them because they don't. That's your right to be triggered. Get over it. That's all I can say. I gotta tell you what I think.
Oh, here's another example is this. Another example is every time we want a player, every time we want to trade for a player, sign a player in free agency, or make a trade for a player that seems almost impossible. Philly, how many times have we wanted a player? And I'm not trying to brag and say, oh, look, we're right about it. But at least when we speculate things, it's all speculation, but we speculate to the point where, would this make sense for the Philadelphia Eagles? How many times have we been right about specific players coming to Philadelphia? And then them coming to Philadelphia, where everyone else pretty much said that would never happen and they would give a shit about it. But then when we're right about things, nothing is said. They'll let us know when we're wrong, but when we're right, it's a totally different story. So you have to be open to different ideas of what the Eagles can do, whether it's acquiring players where is Nick going to be the head coach of the future or not? Is he liable for this season? Is he still calling the plays? Is he still him and Kellen Moore still have a joint thing this year? I don't know, but like I said, everyone's going to have a different opinion. That's fine. If we all agreed on the same thing every single day, it would be boring. It would be boring. It would just be boring. Like it wouldn't make any sense to do this. You do this to pick people's minds and to see, oh, maybe someone you've come up with things where I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. You help me out on my thought process. Maybe I help you out on my thought process. Probably not, because I'm not the smartest tool. I'm not the sharpest tool in the tool shed, but it is what it is.
Don't be mean to yourself.
But it's how it is, dude.
I just say
can't please everybody.
timestamp now. When people say it, I just say timestamp. Show me timestamp. That's it. Show me it, and then if you're right, I'll say, yeah, you're right. Hey, that's it. Just timestamp. That's it. Michael says Nick manages the game well, but he needs to let more cook. Yeah, I agree. He needs to let more cook. I really didn't have a problem with Sirianni last week, except for the slow start, which we had talked about in preseason. AI cooking the guy, David Super Chat. He goes, I say if we don't make the Super Bowl this year, fire Nick. He sucks. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I do think, though, and it's way ahead. You know, I don't want to jump ahead, but we got to try to make sure that Kellen Moore is here more than 1 year if they have a really good year, you know.
I agree.
Tommy says, 500, enjoy. Are you all okay with sitting out Brown this week and next week? His hamstring needs to be 100% kick. Have him aggravate even more. If it's really like I don't know. Like I was saying, I didn't know what Nick, because Nick said today that he had tightness. So did he tweak it, or was it just tight and they were afraid he was going to tweak it? If you have to sit him out this week, I'm okay with that. But I really want him for the New Orleans game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's. The Eagles aren't going to give out the news to the Falcons that AJ is playing or not playing, so they're going to take advantage of this situation. They're going to prepare for AJ Brown regardless. This is just how the NFL works when it comes to superstar injuries during the week before a game, especially a few days before a game. Okay, if it's aggravating, if AJ just runs on the field on Monday night and he a pregame and he feels that there's a slight bit of just being uncomfortable, he will not play in this game. Most likely. So I think the Eagles can survive one game without him. I like I said, it's not week 14. It's not, we have to win this game for the first seed or anything like that. This is technically just the second game. And this is why you brought in Jahan Dotson. This is why you have a run game now when you can use multiple backs. There's so many different things that Kellen Moore can do with this offense. So I wouldn't even really worry. I'm not, if AJ's out, I'm not really worried that much, to be honest. I'm really not.
Yeah.
So
dinner. Right? Mav is saying I ate the cats, so I'm showing him. I'm saying, there you go, it's dinner.
He doesn't
See,
do that.
Mav? That's why I say timestamp, Mav. There's a cat right here. Van Dam. Blaming me for hurting my cats. Marky right there, super chat, my man. He goes, Nick's a winner. 2 new coordinators are cool, but we can't blame Nick for all the bad things and give credit to the coordinators for what good. Nick and Hurt went 10-1 with the rookie coordinator. Love you all. I think he did a great job at the beginning of the year, but the collapse is where I have a problem with it. I don't know. I appreciate the super chat. I think I don't think that I don't think I'm nitpicking that Nick Sirianni that much.
Is Brian Johnson an offensive coordinator right now in the league for that special season, for that 3/4 of that special season last year? That's what I'm saying, dude. Like Brian Johnson was the scapegoat to like that. Brian Johnson wasn't the brains of our offense. That's what I don't think a lot of people get last year. I think he was given a playbook. Look, Brian Johnson was next to Steichen the year before, and I figured that we had to give him some games to kind of get this thing rolling offensively, but it just never changed. It just never changed all year. So he's been the scapegoat the whole year, and Nick gets to keep his job, and that's perfectly fine because Nick, as a person, is a great coach. As a motivator, I take nothing away from him. But if people actually believe Brian Johnson was the real brains behind the offense last year, then that's your opinion. I don't.
To me, I can't. I just can't do that. Last year is like long gone.
Yeah, I know.
I'm only focused on this year. Like, yeah, whatever happened last year happened last year. Nick has a new role, and I'm rooting for him to succeed in it.
Yes,
that's the bottom line. But if there's something I don't like, I'm gonna say it. Dwight says, I want AJ to play on Monday Night Football because I don't want to hear no excuses from you damn Eagle fans. I want him to play too, but he's got to be healthy, And let me tell you, the Eagles should beat the Falcons regardless whether AJ Brown can go or not, Ultimately, Nick had control, but I think BJ was a contributor. I don't know. like I have moved on from last year. When they chose to keep him and they
look,
gave him the rule. All right, let's go. I'm ready.
We get these questions. We answer these questions. And last year is always brought up. So sometimes we end up talking about last year. Not that we want to, but this is a new year. It's a brand new situation, totally new situation. We're hoping offensively it's, as the season goes on, we're hoping that there's no, we're not catching Nick put his hands in the cookie jar once again. That's what we're hoping. It's not happening.
I will say this. If Nick Sirianni goes out there, and when he does good things, I promise you, I will give him credit for it. I will. Yeah. I have nothing personally against the guy at all. I don't, and if he does something good, I will give credit for it. I thought last week, my thing was the whole preseason because we had talked about that for weeks. But I'm sure with the Eagles' great season they're about to have, I'm sure that we're going to give him a lot of credit. So just be a little patient. It'll happen. Philly got to keep Van Dam and make him a Philly Shakedown mascot. If you do, I'll make him a tiny green white. Oh, that's cute. We'll see. I'll see what I could do.
And you gotta even watching week 1, and I think we talked about this. I don't know if we talked about it last week, but even some of the games that we did watch. Like, I would say 80% of the teams that we watched on Sunday to Monday did not look great at all. Like, a lot of these teams didn't look prepared. I think the Eagles have looked better than any of those teams that we've seen play, to be honest with you. Then at least 80% of the games I watched, I think the Eagles have played better than most of those teams. And I know we nitpick at everything. We make a big deal out of things because we want this team to look on fire this early. But sometimes, as much as we want the offseason program to change, these guys didn't look like they were really gelled up by that first game. Do you really want to get hot that early? And can you keep that hotness throughout the season? Because sometimes you'll have that flame in the beginning and then you'll start to lose it by the end. So we don't want to get into that situation, but we want them to look, they gave us what they gave us in that Friday night game in a really bad situation where it was field conditions, and the Eagles still pulled off 34 points. I mean, They scored 34 points in that game. It's great. Right.
Martin says, let AJ rest, the game plan around Dotson, Smitty, and let Barkley go. Yeah, if he can't go, if he does have a tweaked hamstring, then definitely don't. Definitely don't. Rich says, you guys would be crying if one of the best players got hurt in preseason. It's plenty of teams that played their starters in preseason and looked like dog shit, including Green Bay. We looked better in week 1. I don't think we looked better in the first quarter in week 1. I'm sorry. I don't think that's the case. And just to be honest with you, I have consistently said, as long as I've been on here, you should play your guys in preseason. Yeah. I didn't just say it because I happen to say it and I'll jump off of that. I said there's always a risk if players get hurt. If a guy's playing late in the fourth quarter and gets hurt, that's one thing. But I have consistently said I believe you got to play your guys in preseason, and I understand the risks that go with it. So you're wrong. Your accusation that I would be upset and I would say, why did we play these guys and blame that's wrong, because I've consistently said it. One thing, you got to take a chance and play these guys, especially when you have a new offensive coordinator. I think you have to, and it showed on Monday. They didn't choose to do it. I don't agree with when they do that, and I've consistently said that. So what you're saying is not true. It's just not.
Yeah, like they still put up 34 points with a subpar, like some bad sequences on some offensive, sequences. Like I feel like if you have an injury and if it does happen, like it can happen. So you're putting this up to Kellen Moore to say, okay, so one of our strong suits is gone for offense. How do we build around that for this game? And there's so many weapons on this team that can move around. The wide receivers could play the X, Y, Z, doesn't matter. You have a run game with 3 different backs. Will Shipley hasn't even been used yet in a game yet. So I think like I said, there's a lot of different things they could do. That's why, if you have to make adjustments, Nick is not the guy that's going to do that. It's going to be Kellen Moore because he's been in this situation before and he could do that. So,
no. I mean, look, I've been watching football a long time. Mm-hmm. Players used to play in preseason. They would get drive in the first quarter, a half, a quarter in the second quarter, maybe a half, and there would be they used to have the dress rehearsal game. They used to play. So what I'm saying is you might not agree with me. That's fine. We could disagree on it, but I wouldn't have blamed Nick and say, "Oh, you shouldn't have played him." That's not the case. And here's the proof. I'll give it to you. When Carson Wentz was a rookie, he played in the preseason and got hurt. I don't know if you guys remember. He got hurt in that first preseason game. I didn't say, "Oh, you should never have played him" or anything like that. It goes with the territory. So I feel like I'm being consistent. Main Fresh David Super Chat, he goes, with the conditions of the field in our first game, how do you think our defense is? I believe we have a top 10 defense. And David Super Chat, I was really happy. Like, one of the bright spots for me on this team was the defense, because they kept you in the game. When the offense was struggling and trying to get into a groove and knock off the rust, your defense kept you in. It could have easily been 14-0, but that defense stepped up. So I actually think the defense is going to be better than we thought. I think they'll give up yards. They're going to give up plays. We've got to accept that those things are going to happen. But by the end of the year, they're going to be pretty good. I really think they're going to be pretty good.
And then the connect and the yeah, I mean, top 15th best is average, but top 10 I think is could be more likely. But I'll connect off of what you just said too, because I think Fangio has brought, even those first two drives, the defense only holding them to 6 points those two drives. I think Fangio has brought a grit to this defense. I feel like the coaching, I feel like the productivity to certain positions. He's taking chances on players to take out of position, like Bryce Huff in coverage, which he's never done. Quinyon Mitchell playing on the inside, which he's never done. He's been mostly an outside corner. So he's taken gambles on specific players and, bringing Chauncey back. Chauncey might not, Chauncey is going to make plays in games, but you don't realize, like, when he opens his mouth, people follow, and people get, it's a huge thing, man. I think there's a toughness in Philly that we didn't have last year. There's a sense of urgency now, and we saw that at the beginning of the game, and it kind of carried on, which was great. So,
right.
It's a good thing.
500 wants to be the NFL 20 years ago. It's not the NFL anymore, and I didn't say you wouldn't say that you shouldn't have played, but you would have been upset if the guys got hurt. Why take the risk? Listen, the football 20 years ago was way better product. That's just a fact. So I'm not going to even disagree with you on that. Secondly, why I would be upset if a player got hurt in week 3 or week 4. So why bring that up unless you're trying to allude to the fact that I'm going to unnecessarily blame Nick Sirianni for playing in preseason, and that I would somehow be wishy-washy or both sides of the fence. All I'm saying to you is I wouldn't be on the same two sides of the fence. I would say you got to play your guys preseason. That happens.
We're talking about it. We're talking about a series. We're talking about one series. We're not talking let them play preseason for a quarter, because I'm sorry, but the joint practices, there's value, but there's no value. I think there's value for certain positions in joint practice, for corners, for wide receivers, for quarterbacks. The mentality of a quarterback in joint practice is a controlled environment. They control what happens. So, in Jalen Hurts' mentality, any quarterback that's in a joint practice, they know they're not getting tackled. They know they're not going to be thrown to the ground. It's not a game. So mentally, it changes the aspect of joint practice to what's the difference between joint practice to a preseason game. We're just telling them to throw these guys in for a series. But look, defensively, Fangio had to start guys because unfortunately there's too many young faces. There's too many new pieces to the defense. So you saw guys like Zach Bond and Carter only had three snaps in preseason, but still he got some playing time. But offensively molded into the offense that you want to have this year and not come to a slow start, which we definitely had. It was some bad sequences in that first game. So you got to take it with a grain of salt. Like, there's a risk with everything. There's a risk when Philly 500 walks out his house to go to work every day. There's a risk when I go to work every morning.
Everybody else, Not to me, because I'm kicking ass and taking names.
But I'm just saying there's always a risk. But it's like, yeah, well, we'd be upset if a player got hurt in preseason. Yeah, sure, but that's the name of the game, bro. We can't be a snowflake. It's a snowflake league right now, as it is.
My point is all I'm saying is I'm not like going on either side of the fence, whatever I have to do to blame Nick Sirianni. Like I have nothing against Nick Sirianni. I just disagree fundamentally with that, and that wouldn't change. So that's just the way it is. He might not agree, and I respect it. Three Cross Kennel says, but that's the thing. These guys are not experts. Probably only played the bench in high school. It's just an opinion that they have. No, started, but thank you. Everybody has an opinion.
And I played. Look, and I'm not going to brag either. I played Pop Warner to high school I played college for a year. I played Division III college for a year. Okay, I'm not no expert on anything, but I know, like, when I went to camp, when I played in scrimmages, they're called scrimmages in college. You played in a scrimmage game. You rotated, but you played a lot in the scrimmage game. The NFL, because the reason why they're treating it the way it is in the preseason, not even knocking off the fourth preseason game was fine. Like, I didn't mind that because I thought it was too long of a, because if you get injured that fourth week, then you're really not playing in that season opener or whatever. But I'm saying this, like, you play in an off-season program the way you do, like, you have to add a little bit more physicality to it, and you have to make sure you're tackling and doing other things, other aspects of the game that are very important, because if you're missing that by the first game, they don't practice it enough. It's going to show on tape, and it did show on tape. It did, so.
Right. Neil says, public sports open to public opinions. Thus, hey, everybody's a right to their opinion about whatever they want to have an opinion about. That's it. I do not claim to always be right on my opinion. I'm wrong a lot of times. I am not perfect, but I have an opinion and I just give it, whether people like it or not. I just try to be as honest as I can about what I think. Sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes I'm not, but I don't have any I feel like some people are alluding to the fact that I have some sort of
you have pull
vehementance for Nick Sirianni. I don't at all. I want him to succeed.
It's go ahead. I'm just keep going because I'm just ranting about it. Just go.
Purify. David Super Chat goes, hey Philly, how you feel about Monday? It's crazy how these stars in the league getting hurt in week 1 before Christian McCaffrey, AJ Love, etc. Yeah, Christian McCaffrey's on IR now, so he's going to miss up to what? He's
4
miss
games.
At least 4 games. I mean, injuries are always tough, but I think the Eagles win 34-20. So I think we'll be fine. There's my man, Antonio. What's going on, man? Through all of that, we won game 1. Can we move on to Atlanta and expectations? Thank you. Thank you, Antonio. Yeah, my expectations is I think the Eagles are a way better team than the Falcons. And I think if they can stop the run, I think they'll shut down Kirk Cousins. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what these edge rushers could do, because there is no wet field, there is no slipping and sliding. And I think that's what it's about. I think the key to this game, the key to a blowout, is you just shut down Robinson and force Kirk Cousins to have to try to beat you.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, there's not a lot of players that I'm really worried about, especially on their offense. Besides Bijan is the whole package because he could do everything, and Kirk Cousins is gonna, if the Eagles could shut that run game down and not get gashed like they did last game, then they'll have their hands on Kirk Cousins multiple times in this game, no doubt.
Right. Hurts playing his first actual game with 0 playing time in preseason with new schemes. Yeah, he struggled at times, but he also catalyst for game-clinching drive. Hurts.
I agree.
That's the thing. Yeah, I mean, Hurts is clutch. And when you need that last final drive, I trust Jalen Hurts. And that's why I believe he can win a Super Bowl, because he could come up big in those moments. He has proven it. The rest of the stuff with the rust and the turnovers, I think we knocked a lot of that off. We're probably still coming. I think Hurts is gonna have a clean game, and I think people are way too too quick to judge that he's somehow going to be a turnover machine this year.
Yeah.
Chris Kaufman, member for 12 months. Thank you so much. He goes, I don't think Nick has any control over preseason. He's the coach. He can tell you who plays and who doesn't.
I can't.
I mean, he said it was his decision. So unless it's coming from Howie, then I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love you, Alex, but
he said.
I think
Nathan says we still have Paris. Yeah, we still have Paris Campbell. He's on the practice squad. We're gonna have to move him up.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Dwight says, I don't know why delusional Eagle fan thinks it's gonna be a blowout. This game is up for grabs. Do you consider 34-20 a blowout? I consider that a very good win, but I don't consider that blowout. I think you need I think a blowout's like 20 points or more.
Dude, we gotta end this, dude, because it's gonna get crazy. It's gonna get really crazy. That's all I'm gonna say. And you're gonna have to stop me.
Okay, why? What's wrong?
No, it's just you'll see, but it's nothing bad. It's just
we'll figure it out. Neil makes a good point though. The tape comes out week 4, and around week 4, that's when you can start to look at things. I agree. Right now, there's a lot of things we just got to see. That's what I'm saying. Be patient with the pass rush. Let's see what it can be and what it could do. Some of these guys in the secondary, even library. I think when we get to week 4, week 5, we'll kind of start to really know what we got. Let's see. Lucas, thank you so much for super chat, my man. Appreciate it. Because why is it always Nick's fault when something you don't like happens? Like when Kellen calls a bad play, you say Nick made him call that play, and you say Nick has his own play sheet, but he just taking notes. He did it in 2022. Yeah, just I appreciate the super chat. Just send me the timestamp. I'll just take the timestamp because I don't remember saying anything about Nick. Now I did say I thought some of the play calls looked eerily familiar to last year, but I don't think I said anything about Nick having. I said Nick has his own play sheet. Yeah, I don't. You can send me the timestamp about the play sheet. I appreciate it.
I told Philly about the play sheet that I saw last
I didn't say
takedown.
anything about play sheet.
No, I said it.
But I will say this. The only thing I had a problem with Nick last week was the not playing in preseason. But we've talked about that. But I appreciate the super chat. I do. I don't know what to say, but I think some of you guys, in my opinion, if you think I'm too hard on Nick, I think some of you guys are giving him too many excuses. So we can just agree to disagree.
We're just saying that there's certain specific plays that were called on Sunday that looked like last year. That's all we're saying. We're not saying that Nick is working with Kellen Moore. Yeah, I'm the one that mentioned the playbook to Philly last week because Philly was like, a playbook. I said, yeah, he was carrying this little chart thing and he was checking things off. So I feel like this is how I feel. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying that it's factual. All I'm saying is I feel like he is feeding Kellen specific plays on certain drives. I'm talking one play every couple drives that looks like last year. I'm not saying that is happening, but that's in my opinionated opinion of all opinions. That's where I'm at.
I mean, we're talking. It's week 1. It was week 1. We've had one game. Let's wait a month, 5 weeks, and see. Seriously, I stand by my criticism of the preseason. I believe that I'm right about that. So, if you don't agree with me, that's. I respect your opinion, but I believe that was his fault. Frank says, could the questionable plays be coming from analytics? It could. You never know. You never know. Colton says, 500, Joey, are you worried about the defense? I am. 414 total yards isn't good. Well, I think Green Bay has a really good offense. I didn't like the run defense in the second half. I feel like, I don't think Atlanta's as good, and I don't think they're going to put up the yards they did. So I wouldn't say I'm worried this early. I think we got to give it time. I do think with the new defensive coordinator and with a lot of young defensive players in there, I think we got to give this defense a chance to kind of get adjusted, in my opinion. Chris Kaufman, David Super Chat. He goes, when did Nick become infallible? I don't know. I'm just going to say what I think, whether it's right or wrong.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
Lucius the show, David Super Chat goes, Sirianni, I know you're in here with your burner account. You won't be able to defend yourself in here. You sucked last year, and your fanboys suck too. Thank you, Lucius the show. Appreciate that, my man.
Yeah, I'm afraid to say something that people think it's factual and it's not. If
I'm
wrong, I'm wrong.
Anything, dude. I'm not afraid. I've learned long ago. You just got to say it because if you say something, no matter what, people are going to like it. I don't care. I say what I can say, and I just the way I look at it is our job is to be honest. Give your honest opinion. Give people what you honestly think, and let the chips fall where they may. That's how I see it.
I agree.
It's all, I don't take it personal. Philly and Joey, all the people saying don't blame Sirianni, they probably put it all on Hurts. Yeah,
100%. I believe that. 100%.
All I said, there was two issues I had with him: the preseason, and I thought that trying to do the push tush on third down and not run Barkley, I thought that was a lack of feel for the game. As a coach, he should have had a better feel, in my opinion, to run the ball there. And maybe it wasn't him. Maybe Kellen Moore needs a better feel. But somebody on that play not giving Barkley the ball on 3rd and goal
makes no sense.
I don't understand it. And I don't know who. I won't blame Nick here. Maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it was Kellen Moore. Whoever it was, I don't understand how you cannot know to give Barkley the ball there. How do you not have a feel for Barkley and what he's doing?
Yeah, it's stop being cute with specific plays. Like, just run it down their throats and let Saquon do it himself. It's easy. That's why you brought him in.
Well, you get a feel sometimes team gets in motion. They're running the ball well. They're doing good. And you just know, Tubes Most Wanted goes, I blame Big Dom. No reason at all, but since a bunch of nonsense being spewed, I thought it fit. There we go. Blame him. Why not?
That's an opinion. It's an opinion.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. Hurts is like Mills, some boneheaded plays, but then put in a game-deciding position, and he will produce. Millie did lock. He did lock Julio Jones there in that game. That was a big play. I think Hurts is going to have a lot less turnovers than people think he is going to this year. I really believe that. I know the first game he had a couple, but, they were rusty in that first quarter.
Yeah.
Real players and coaches take the type of stuff on the chin. What a weakling. Rogue says, hey, guys, I feel like Nick Sirianni will not have his contract renewed, and I feel like they promised Kellen Moore the head coaching job in year 2. Yes, we'll find out. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. Gio says, hey, 500 Joey, any news on Brown? The latest news is that he's questionable for playing on Monday. He didn't practice again today, and it's really 50-50. I assume if it's bothering him, he probably wouldn't play, but I'm not sure. I mean, we're just going to have to see.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Jacob says, Hurts will have less than 10 picks. I kind of agree with you. I do. I kind of think that everybody's making such a big deal about Hurts and the turnovers first game. Like, what if he goes out there and has a clean game, doesn't turn a ball over? Well, you won't hear anybody. They'll just wait until the next time he turns the ball over. Go have yourself a member for 7 months. Thank you so much. He goes, Sirianni likes Domino's pizza and ketchup on hot dog.
I wouldn't fucking be surprised, honestly.
Well, the Domino's thing, he ordered Domino's, right? to watch a Monday night game in Philly. I would have gotten myself a Sicilian pizza somewhere good. Tommy says, Philly 500 and Joey Sirianni would not be a head coach for any other team in the NFL. So screw the friction it caused and promote Kellen after this year. Well, I mean, we're going to have to wait and see how things go out.
It was Pizza Hut, not Domino's.
Oh, Pizza Hut. Timestamp. No,
you gotta say it. You gotta say it.
That's what I say. That's my thing. Because just show me where I screwed up. Don't accuse me of it. Just show me. Dallas plays the Saints at 1 p.m. Yes, I will be streaming that game. Washington plays New York at 1. 500. I want to see both Holmes and Bad Dog Meltdown on your live stream. Well, I don't know if Bad Dog will let me. I don't know if they'll let me put up a Meltdown cam. I can ask them, but I know Mark will. And we'll be doing that. Hopefully they both. I think Washington beats the Giants tomorrow.
They should. What do you think
about it?
Yeah,
and I think unfortunately, I think Dallas is going to beat New Orleans, but I'll be rooting against them. You know what I mean? I haven't had Domino's pizza. I haven't had that. I can't tell you the last time I had those.
Type it. Click on 3 cross kennels. Two chats before.
What is it?
2 chats before this one.
Okay,
3 cross kennels.
Let me read this first. 500. You still wishing to have a Cowboys in Parsons? I never wanted an Eagle. I'm not hope. I know it's going to happen. I just think it's going to happen. But I'll take him. I think he's a pretty good player, even though he is a Cowboy. This one here, Joey, you are a YouTuber that puts your opinion out in the world. Yet you get upset when you are not agreed with. Philly 500 just goes with the flow and says what he says, right or wrong.
I don't even get that. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? When do I get upset? When do I get upset? I vent. This is my personality when I vent to everybody. Like, I do this when I play a video game. I do this when really everything I talk about. I'm you know what I mean? It's just a venting mechanism I have. It doesn't mean I'm upset about anything. So if there's people out there that don't know me maybe have known me for a week, have been subscribed for a month, I mean, I just vent about stuff, even if somebody puts out a different opinion than I do. I've been doing this for a long time. Like, I welcome everybody's opinions. I never get mad at anybody. So I don't think all of us go with the flow of everything. Like, we go with the flow if we think the opinion is correct. And if it's not, then I don't think me and Philly go with the flow with everything to a certain extent. Like, if we feel like there's something wrong being said, like, or we feel different, we're gonna say it. We feel different. Like, I don't get that. That's the one thing I think is not right. So, I don't get it, dude. Like, I mean, we're talking about Nick. We're not even talking about the play. We're talking about a coach right now. And after week 1, I mean, it's just, I get it. So,
Witch King says Saints 40, Cow Bitches 23. Oh my God, dude, that would make my whole Sunday if that happens. It'll make my whole Sunday. Rogue says he feels the Saints are going to win. Also, that's a good sports show. Their curse wheel has cursed the Cowboys. Listen, do you really think they're going to go in Dallas and win? See, I don't know what to make of the New Orleans Saints. I know that they've got some talent in some places, but they put 47 points up at home. I always think that they're a better team at home. So, I mean, look, God, just please let it happen. That would be so great. I stayed away from it. I didn't even bet the game because I'm not betting the Cowboys. Philly and Joey, you have to realize there are dumbass people in the world laugh out of. There are.
Trust me.
J-Dog says 5-0. Don't you want to hear me talk about this guy just thinks it's so funny I don't have a neck. 500, my fins are cooked. And yeah, the Tua thing is horrible. That injury scares me. Like, when you see guys, like, when their arm lifts up like that, like that scares the crap out of me. And that's like 2 or 3 times that's done it to him. I feel bad for him. I really do. Tony said the Cowboys will not lose their home opener. I agree. So Joey, give me. We're an hour and 49 minutes in. Holy crap, this went off the rails, huh?
Yeah.
This became the Nick Sirianni, Nick Sirianni hour. What are your scores for Monday? What do you think?
I mean, I think they could score 38. I think 38-24, baby.
38-24.
I think they'll separate once they get their stride in. Once they're home, it's going to be electrifying. It's the first actual home opener, and I think they'll shut down the run game. They'll make Kirk Cousins. They'll make the offense one-dimensional. They'll get the Kirk Cousins a little bit more. We're hoping to see a better game better with this defensive line going forward, and I think it's going to be a good game. I think we'll start to get comfortable towards the end in the second half. So.
Right. Josh says, Nick, 916 is another account for. No, I don't think 916 is an account for him. He has a specific way he sounds all the time.
Yeah.
Easy says 500. Joey need to make a 6 series. Can AI use our voices and make a diss track? That would be kind of funny.
Probably, I wouldn't doubt it.
That would be kind of funny. But anyways, guys, we're an hour and 50 minutes in. I love the discussion and the debate. I respect everybody's opinion, and I appreciate the back and forth. I actually really enjoy it. But it's time to go. I gotta go hang out with the family, and
yeah.
We're an hour and 50 minutes in. You got anything planned for tomorrow?
I'm just gonna have some videos out and some stuff, and then I'll be streaming on Monday.
Yeah, I'll be live. Well, I was just say 10 a.m. my time, 1 Eastern, for Cowboys and the Cowboys and Saints. I'll also we'll watch the Giants Commanders game too as well. So if you guys want to come hang out with me for that live stream, it should be a lot of fun. And we'll definitely do that. Yeah.
Make sure to check out the Philly Shakedown merch. Is in the link in the description.
Before we get out of here, let me show you guys the new Q stuff, man. This stuff, it's been selling like hotcakes. But if you guys want to check it out, man, the Quinyon Mitchell is here shutting them down, and you don't want to miss it.
Yep.
You will comply, just like Nick Sirianni will be wearing one of those shirts soon. You will comply. The link is in the description. Definitely, guys, check it out. And seriously, thank you so much. I love the debating. It's great, and I hope you all have a wonderful, great night. I got Eagles 34-20. Should be absolutely fantastic. With that said, let's get out of here, Joey.
Peace.
Let's go. You guys have a great night. Peace.
Bye.
2 minutes to go. You have plenty of time.
Come on.
Oh, shit! Dad! No!
It's over! It's over! This game is over! Cut it off! It's over!
Fuck.
Congratulations, Green Bay. Congratulations, Green Bay. Congratulations, Green Bay.
I said run the ball.
Congratulations, Green Bay. Dak Prescott, you need to be fired today. That was on you, Dad. That was on you, Dad. That was on you, Dad.
I said run the ball.
That was on Dak Prescott. Trying to feed the ball. Trying to feed the CeeDee Lamb. Trying to feed the CeeDee Lamb. You tried to feed the CeeDee Lamb. You got to give it to CeeDee Lamb. God. It's over. It's over, Dad. Put Trey Lance in the game. Trey Lance can't do worse than you.
I'm an idiot because I buy into this shit. Because here's the thing. I am a grown-ass man. And I talk the talk. It is killing me.
for again? And I feel it coming. You gotta do something. I feel like it's gonna take Jerry Jones taking. Cut it off. It's over.